Hello, Cancer. If you welcome or welcome back. If you don't know, I am a super Cancer. My rising, my sun, moon, and Mercury is in Cancer. My Chiron is in Cancer. My sister is a Cancer. My niece is a Cancer. My mom's a Cancer rising. So when it comes to Cancers, I know a lot. Pardon me. Speaking of Cancerian issues, I've been fighting off bronchitis for a month brought on by an allergy attack. And I think that sums up Cancer in a nutshell. If you don't know, bronchitis is brought about by domestic issues. So I always suffer from bronchitis almost every year since childhood. There's always, domestic strife is where it's at. So I've been really looking forward towards doing this video because I need guidance right now. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. So let's start with a Whispers of Ganesha Oracle card. What does Cancer need to know? At the Capricorn new moon, our opposite sign, we're the mommy, they're the daddy. So we feel Capricorn season in a very particular way. What does Cancer need to know at this Capricorn new moon? Courage. Well, ain't that the truth? I had some hard news this week, bringing the cough back. And I've been telling people the thing I really need right now, like really need right now, is courage. So I'm going to read to us the final card of the book, which to me emphasizes like the vibe. We're at the final stage. The warmth of your open heart can give comfort to all who cross your path. The root word for courage is croix, which is French word for heart. Courage comes from the heart. It is an inner strength guided by love, which seeks truth and justice. When you have the courage to be true to yourself, you start to feel empowered to act and live in ways true to your own soul. Without any illusion, Ganesha is urging you to let down your guard and stop wearing a mask. Begin to have more respect for yourself as well as others. Beware of making harsh judgments about yourself and others. When you come from the heart, you will find that you relate better to others. Your innate gifts will be able to shine through. You are capable of leadership, achievement, and inspiring others to succeed through your own success. When you draw this card, it is a sign that your ability to cooperate and thrive in pure ventures with like-minded individuals is heightened. Be willing to do what is needed for things to run smoothly for you. Ganesha promises great success if you are willing to let down your walls. He is pictured here on the powerful lion, inherited from his mother Parvati. The lion represents the fierce nature of Ganesha. He calls on you now to trust your fearless part of your being, your own inner lion, and invites you to work with him to learn how to be valiant and harness your heart's great courage. So I just finished my Leo video. I do all of these videos in reverse order. And I was explaining how Leo really made me work for it. And how the previous video, Virgo, illuminated it a lot for the Leo video. And now this card is a very Leo card. There's the lion, there's courage. The description was Leo. And the kind of ass kicking, and sorry for cursing if that upsets you, that Leo made me do was to enjoy my life. Now, the past few years have been extremely difficult. I just got out of my Saturn return, my first Saturn return. And the kick in the head was the real trauma happened right before it. So I've been processing a lot of really deep, heavy stuff for the past few years. Only now getting back on my feet, only then to get the rug pulled out from underneath me. But when the rug gets pulled out, that doesn't mean the, interesting vibe that just happened right there. I'll explain that in a minute. But just because the rug gets pulled out from underneath you doesn't mean the ground has been disturbed. Doesn't mean the stability that you've gained has been lost. The ground you've gained hasn't been lost, even if the rug has been pulled out underneath you. The only thing that's necessary right now is courage. Now, as I started talking, you know, to do the Leo video, I had to burn sage for like 10 minutes and all these other things before I could even you know, before I could even shuffle a deck, you know. And then I just switched the cards up, started shuffling, and as I'm shuffling, half of the deck is upside down for whatever reason. And as I start talking, the sage starts smelling like I turned it out with water. And all that's saying to me is like, our energy right now is really discombobulated, and we're putting out our own fire. When Leo has been teaching me and is teaching us even right now, these little steps of mindfulness and thoughtfulness is what gets you through. Don't be afraid to do what you need to do. Light the incense. Let it burn. Let it fill the room up with healing and good vibrations. Right? What are your favorite sweater that makes you feel lovely? In my Cancer Ariana God is a Woman sweater, which that song came out on my 30th birthday. You know, don't ignore your cough, which I have been doing. This is actually a smoky quartz that a Taurus got me on my birthday as well. And let's just take a moment to appreciate it, you know, while I shuffle the cards. Let it take all of the first phrase that came to mind and is a water issue in general. Take our substance issues. Take our shame. Take all of the doubt away from us that prevents us from wanting to care for ourselves, wanting to be mindful about our day, our energy, our bodies. You know, it's not just about powering through. It's about being the best we can be. It's about appreciating this existence and our individuality, and not just about service. Can you believe I just said that? Life isn't just about service. It's not just about the impact and sacrifice you make. It's also about the joy you experience. And health is a huge influence on joy. I'm feeling the density. Bottom of the deck, Ten of Wands. Judgment, the Empress. Knight of Swords. You are exhausted. Yeah. You are exhausted. You are ready to refresh, but you're not ready to let go. People see the struggle you've been going through. They know you have been traumatized profoundly, hurt profoundly. But after, the storm, hashtag Kali Uchis, after the storm, Cancer, is the Empress. After you let go and restart, you can be born again. You can create magnificent beauty, care tremendously for those around you, get married, have children, start a business. Services can be not just on a volunteer basis. People can pay you for the service you offer to people. That's something I'm doing right now. Anytime any of my friends or anything are in a dire situation, they call me. What should I do? Can you pull some cards for me? And I do it freely. Maybe I should have the courage to appreciate myself enough to charge, to know my worth, to know what I offer, to know the inspiration. Knight of Swords, send those invoices. Make these videos. Send those communications. Let people know you're ready to, let God know you're ready for a judgment, for a refresh. But you have to let go. You have to let go. You have to have the strength and courage to let go if you want this new beginning. You also kind of resent the process. You don't want to be slow and steady. I mean, let's talk about myself. I don't want to, I'm speaking a little extra right now just for the sake of argument. It's like, oh, I don't want to do these videos every month if I'm not going to have astronomical numbers and bunch of subscribers and followers and comments and all this attention. That's not really the vibe, but there absolutely is a hint of instant gratification and fear, especially because the card is courage, right? Like this fear that if success isn't instantaneous, it's not happening at all, which I really think is the point. It's not about, oh, our card, okay. It's not about, oh, I need so much attention, or boo-hoo, I'm not doing it. It's not that. It's more like, am I using my limited energy properly by doing this? Is there a better way for me to be resetting my life other than this path? Is the time and energy I'm using making these videos a waste of time? You know, I'm getting good feedback. I'm getting a fair amount of views, I think. But it's not enough to say that it's worth my time. But I think it is. I think it's worth my time. I hope it's worth my time, but only time will tell, you know? It's not for me to say in the moment. It's hard to know in the moment. Time works funny that way. But what you do have control over, what you should rest on, is the power of who you are, the power of your personality. Now, a healthy Cancer is the Queen of Cups. Now, what's a healthy Cancer versus an unhealthy Cancer? Well, an unhealthy Cancer Queen of Cups is someone who wants to drag you down with them. I think of it as a mermaid pulling her desired underneath when the human cannot breathe. Can you judge people for not being able to swim as freely and deeply as you? Or is it saying, I am the master, I am the mistress of these waters right here, baby, and let me guide you through them. Let me navigate the turbulence for you. And that is such a precious, beautiful space to hold. Princess Diana, Ariana at Manchester, George Michael when he came out of the closet, Lil' Kim being the baddie OG that she is, OG baddie, MIA and refugees all across the world, immigrants all across the world. You know, these are Cancers at their finest. Cancer in their personality powers. Do you want to be the mermaid that sinks ships, or do you want to be the mermaid that, you know, becomes a legend, that becomes a hero? To go back to myself in this analogy, it's worth my time if I just sit here with my cup of water and offer you this love and guidance out of my heart and have the courage to follow it through. Maybe it would lead somewhere. Maybe it's just a springboard for me to, you know, find where I am needed or needed more, etc. You're afraid to get what you deserve. Probably because this hurt that traumatized you, you want to tell yourself it was for the best. Can I tell you, this week I have been infuriated when I try to talk to my friends about this real serious situation that I'm in right now, and has real serious consequences if I don't make the right moves. And people are just like, oh, well, you know, everything happens for a reason. You're fine. It's no big deal. Like, no, it is a big deal. It is a big deal. I want to get what I want, and I don't want to identify with the struggle, and I don't want to make the struggle precious. You know what I want to make precious? My objectives. I want to have the courage to believe that I'm worth it, not surrender to defeat. But not everybody can swim as deeply as I can. Six of Cups reversed. With that being said, the only way to get past this, the only way to let go, the only way to get this new cycle going, the only way to be the creative powerhouse, the muse, the caregiver that you are, that you want to be, is by respecting everything that you've been through, respecting the process, respecting the process. I'm sure many of you watch Amber Khan's The Quietest Revolution videos, and her January reading, she said something, and it really has been stuck with me. And it's key, and I know it, and I say this to men all the time. You know, me being the Cancer and me being oscillating between, you know, upright and ill-dignified is with men in relationships, romantic, sexual, otherwise, I give freely. I don't have interest that often. Sometimes it takes months or years for me to find a new man that I find worthy of investing my affection towards. Whether they're deserving of it or not, it's more of a feeling and an intellectualism than anything grounded in commitment and care, which is part of the point. But when they don't appreciate fully the kind of warmth of my affection, they absolutely do once I take it away, and I don't take it away until I mean it. And I don't really know how to be any other way. You know, drown with me. Swim with me first. And then, you know, I'll guide you. I'm not just going to guide you for the sake of guiding you. There's a spitefulness in that. Now, I mention this because I know the pattern. It happens all the time. The men are attracted, they appreciate, they value me, but there's no commitment. And of course, I fear commitment, but the second I am no longer interested and they become interested, I don't give them a chance. Oh, this is interesting. Because I was reading this as Six of Cups, but it's Six of Wands. So if this was Six of Cups, what I was about to say was, so I guess this is teaching me that at this moment, when I no longer want to be with them, because they didn't want to be with me when we were on this vibe, that I should change my mind. But no. No, that's not what it's saying. This is Six of Wands. This is saying something else. This isn't saying, you know, that the lesson is to respect people's feelings even after they've rejected me. It's saying if you want to get what you want, you need to start paying attention to who's giving you the validation that you seek. You're not getting what you deserve because you're seeking validation from men, to use the story, that don't want you or don't want to have a commitment. And if you're watching this and you know me personally, I don't want you to try to analyze what I'm about to say. An issue with water is fantasy. Fantasy is way more important than our external lives. Especially when we're in a state of trauma and abuse, you know. The world is cruel and dark and scary and abusive and oppressive. Why not live in the fantasy, seeing who can swim with you? Well, because you're not going to get anything at the end of it. There's no work being put in anything. There's no commitment. There's no care. So Justice, the card of Libra. And the card Libra has been present in every single reading. This is one of the only readings where the Five of Swords hasn't been present. But the Justice card reverses. And I think and Libra is about being the mirror. So I think what this is saying is the only way to get this new beginning and to be the vibe you want to be on is to look for the validation in the mirror. If people aren't validating you in the real world in a way that justifies it, how great you are, as Amber Khan put it, which I never finished that statement, you love so wonderfully, of course people are going to come back. Of course those men that I showed affection for when I withdraw it is going to want it back. Because it's sweet and loving and pure and sincere and nourishing. But if they, you know, want to be selfish and toxic and manipulative, and if they want the upper hand, if they want to live in Neverland, if they want to live a life that you aren't interested in, you need to move on. You know, we talked about romance. Let's talk about career. If you work at a job and it is causing you serious pain, my sister might be watching this, and I'm just going to use my sister as an example real quick. My sister is highly educated, has an excellent job in finance, and travels all over the country on a regular basis while she has 2 small children, a husband, and a mortgage. So she spent New Year's Day actually in the hospital for 2.5 hours because her migraines were so severe, mostly brought on by work stress. She has been playing the slow and steady, and she's still not getting the results that she wants. And she is so clearly a valuable Queen of Cups. her work ethic, her intelligence, her ability to, her abilities are undeniable. She has run herself exhausted, playing her part appropriately, providing, nourishing the job appropriately, her family appropriately. But she hasn't been getting what she deserves out of the situation. And if you aren't getting what you deserve, tangible, real rewards, then it's time to cut ties and start anew and find an environment where she is valued, not just as this loving personality, but as the creative, abundant force, this vital life force that she offers to the company. And that takes great courage to say, I am worth this, and I am no longer going to go on without my worth being justified, without my efforts being justified. I'm not going to continue to care about you and show affection towards you unless you justify the time and energy that I'm putting into caring about you. It's actually really interesting because I was even like looking for this old lover's Instagram today and I couldn't find it. And I had this moment to myself like, why? Why am I distracting myself and wasting 30 minutes waking up in the morning looking for this man's, or was it last night? Whatever, it was when I was in bed. You know, like, I'm this, and if he doesn't want this, or rather I was interested in reaching out to him because he can hang with the mermaid. Well, I want to get on dry land. I want my feet. I want my sea legs. Not just to swim. Oh man, Cancer, I hope you like... I feel like confused. Like I said when I was shuffling the deck, you know, like the half of the deck just kept like being upside down. And then cards kept falling out. And then, you know, like, don't confuse yourself. Don't let your fire go out because you're not getting validation, the justification you deserve for your efforts. Don't be afraid to put in effort because you're afraid of not getting what you want. And where you have put in the effort, don't be afraid to let go and start new with someone who ready to commit equally. And that also can mean commit as little, you know. A lot of times I like men who are only willing to commit the bare minimum because I'm only willing to commit the bare minimum, but I want to maintain a certain fantasy about it. And we both like that. You know, we both like, oh, once every 3 months we can stop by, hang out, have a 3-hour conversation about our fears and dreams and our realities. Maybe be sexual, maybe not be sexual. And that's the end of it. And that's kind of a lot of my relationship dynamics function in that way. But I'm in this place where it's like, I keep trying to get the reaction I want, and you're not giving it to me, but I keep trying anyway. And why? Why am I doing that? If you're not going to give it to me, even if I think the person truly is in love with me, truly cares about me and my well-being, if you're not going to text me back within 30 minutes or whatever, if you're not going to show up when you say you're going to show up, if you're not going to take me to dinner, like you said you're going to take me to dinner, I'm just going to stop checking in and being your friend. And this isn't even just romance. This is friendship as well. I have friends that live all over the country, that live in different countries, and our friendship isn't based upon, it is based upon mutual respect and care and concern, and that can work as long as you're both putting in mutual efforts. Jeez, I just feel like I keep arriving at this confused space, and probably because it's hard, because I am a Cancer and I am talking to myself and I am offering a lot of personal experiences. So let me just finish real quick before I keep talking in circles. In conclusion, the only way to get through the pain is to be open and vulnerable with your heart while maintaining strong boundaries. Convenience is not the answer. Similarly, Taurus and Libra energy is key. Maybe even a little sprinkling of Sagittarius, but definitely Taurus and Libra. Just like visualize yourself with this, like with this heart around the chalice. Like visualize yourself with this pink aura protecting you at all times, shielding you. I can smell the burst forth is all I can say. And be confident. Be confident. Don't give yourself bronchitis with these issues. Don't give yourself migraines with these issues. Seek out health and happiness and joy, and have the courage to do that, because anybody that had this in their life and rejected it will never forgive themselves for it. I promise you. It happens time and again, and I warn men, you know, when you lose me, you're gonna regret it. And they're like, yeah, well, I'm making this choice now. Literally, I've had this conversation more than once with men. Literally, they have said this. And then the second I, you know, not turn this around and become toxic, but just pull out, they come running back. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Nope. It's not my job to manipulate you into appreciating me, and I will never do that. So before I go off on another tangent, please appreciate yourself, Cancer. Please validate yourself and have the strength to get what you deserve in your love life and in your career from the Libras and the Tauruses. And if they don't give you what you deserve, if there's manipulation, and also fellow Cancers, I'm going to say maybe even Geminis and Sag. If you're not getting what you deserve, then you need to let go. And it's not until you let go that anything is going to happen. See you next month, Cancer. God bless.